Summer in the city of Arendelle. It couldn't be warmer. It couldn't be sunnier. But that's about to change. Forever.
Hello, welcome to the Damian and Devlin show, and this is our review of Frozen, the 2013 animated film directed by, I always forget.
Chris Buck and Jennifer Lee.
Thank you for the help there.
I looked at the sign.
Starring the vocal talents of Kristen Bell, Idina Menzel, Jonathan Groff, and Josh Gad.
Never heard of any of them.
You probably have. Definitely Kristen Bell. She was for Veronica Mars, and she's been in a lot of movies. Anyhow, that's not here or there. We decided that this isn't really a Christmas film because it technically takes place in the summer, but Frozen is still a nice movie to watch around the holidays because there's just so much snow and ice. If you've never heard of this movie, you must have been under a rock because about 5 years ago when this movie came out, this became a phenomenon. And I actually remember when it first came out, I really had no interest in seeing it. And a friend of mine got me to the theater to see it. And I absolutely fell in love with this movie. And I can't stress that enough. Like, I literally thought, that snowman's going to be irritating. And this story just looks like a retread of all the fairy tales I've ever seen. And boy, was I surprised. Now, I have seen this movie a couple of times. This was your first time to be Frozen, so what was your first initial take on this Disney classic?
You know, despite the fact that the movie's name is Frozen, I was left with a very heartwarming feeling at the end of the movie. It actually did a really, really good job, and there were a couple moments where, even though I kind of knew already because people talk on social media and they spoil things, I knew a couple of things that were going to happen. I was sitting there in the moment and I remember thinking, oh wow, they did an awesome job with this, and especially the ending. I loved the direction they chose to go with the ending. Overall, I felt it was a beautiful, beautiful movie.
Yeah, this movie came out of nowhere. It's loosely based on the movie Snow Queen, the book, not the movie, the novel The Snow Queen. But they changed it up a little bit, and it's basically, for those of you who don't know, it's about two sisters who are princesses. One's been locked away because she has magical powers that have to do with creating snow and ice. And when she kind of unleashes that accidentally into the world, she's kind of an outcast, and the other sister just won't give up on her. And that's just a side. There's so many little subplots and stuff, but it really is a well done movie. Did you want to start on your positives?
Yeah, I really felt that this movie was very beautiful. The animation was superb. At times I felt like I was watching an old Disney cartoon with how smooth and fluid it seemed, and just the magical aspect of it all. It just was absolutely stunning, and I can't say enough about the actual artistic stylizations that they chose with this movie. It's fantastic. I also felt that the voice actors for the characters did an awesome job. I didn't think nobody was overdoing it. I never thought anybody was underperforming or anything like that. And I always like when the singing voices come in are the same people that you've been voicing the entire time. Because I've seen movies where they talk and then suddenly they start singing and you're like, that's not them. You can tell. So I was really happy to see that transition, and Disney does a fantastic job with that, with the actors that they cast for the characters.
And just to jump in, great way that you can tell that the singers and the actors is in one of the songs, Would You Like to Build a Snowman, where the kids are actually growing up and you can hear the younger voices and the younger voices singing, and then the, middle child singing, and as they're growing up you can tell it's the voice and the singer, and it's beautiful.
It is, and it made me think of movies like Aladdin, where I'll show you a whole new world, and I knew that was Aladdin actually singing that to Jasmine. And that's what I say that I love about Disney, is they actually pick people that can develop this, or they help them train it, or they already have that ability to transition from just regular talking into beautiful singing voices. And of course then I have to touch on the music, because how could you not talk about music when it comes to Frozen, I'm sure everybody out there has heard Let It Go a million times.
I think everybody sang Let It Go on YouTube when it first came out.
Jeez, it's everywhere. Like I said, I'd never seen this movie prior to today, and I've heard Let It Go. I've even heard Do You Want to Build a Snowman a couple of times. Not as much, but I liked both songs. I liked the song where Anna and Hans were like talking about falling in love with one another.
Mm-hmm.
I liked all the music in this movie. It was all excellent. And the script, I'll let you touch on the script massively, but it's not something that you can do easily when it comes to both him and me, and that's pull a fast one on you. And this script does that in a very effective way. Like I said, if I hadn't have known already about a certain character and the plot twist they throw with that, I would have been sucker punched right in the gut because it's so well done. I can't say enough. So I'm going to let you talk about the script because I know you want to.
I think this is one of the most well-written scripts ever. As I said, I did not want to see this movie, and I came out with this being my favorite animated film of all time. I just love this movie. It is. It's up there with movies like Toy Story 3 and Little Mermaid, which are some of my favorites. But one thing I love about it is how well written this script is. Just when you think that it's going to be a typical thing, the characters are so real in this. Like, Ilsa's, like, you can feel when a couple times she just wants to be with her sister and she knows, I can't. I got to keep away. And, Kristen Bell's voice performance as Anna is so infectious because she's so the opposite of her sister. She's just so fun-loving. She's klutzy, and, I'll fall in love with the first guy I lay eyes on. And it's so sincere and real, and just all the other storyline details in this. Like, even the little characters. But as you said, there's plot twists in this that I did not know. And I was like, they got me. I've never had an animated film get me with plot twists. And then they do it again with another one. And and that's what made me love this movie, because I did not predict a lot of the stuff that was happening. And I give it credit to Disney when they bought Pixar. Pixar was writing some really incredible scripts and stories, and they were advancing in the CGI. That when Frozen came out, I think they really worked hard to get a movie like I don't want to go into like some Disney conspiracies, but I think Disney said Pixar does it so well, and they were having some trouble with some of their movies at the time, like animated. So what they would do was they'd release the Pixar stuff, but I think they said, we got to start learning how to do Pixar stuff just in case Pixar leaves when their contract is done. And I think Frozen is the first one that they proved that they can hit one out of the park, and I think it even made Pixar say, oh, yeah, and I think the script is a big part of this, and their animation, as you touched on, incredible.
Beautiful.
I think the musical numbers are wonderful. I think Let It Go, although a lot of people got sick of that song, it fits the movie so perfect.
And you know what? Maybe that's a good thing that I haven't seen this movie up until now, is because, I'd heard Let It Go, but I wasn't overexposed to it like everybody else has been. So I actually found enjoyment in actually seeing the movie to the song. So I'm glad that, for that sake, at the very least.
We'll see if he has the same enjoyment in 2 days when he's still got Let It Go in his head playing, because that or the Snowman song tends to stick in your head.
It's been stuck in my head before. It's all right. I can live with it.
There's some other songs that are smaller, that are fun, that are also clever with the script. Olaf has a song about how he desperately wants to be in summer and near heat. And the song has got some great little, they give little hints to the fact that he doesn't know that he's going to melt if he gets to this, but the song is written in a way that is just, it's just so well done and incredible with innuendos. Like, the audience is giggling because we no, well, he can't really like it, and he doesn't.
Yeah.
And the innocence of that performance is great. And then there's another, just one last one of musically I want to say, is there's a song that's, I don't even think it's a song, because it's a reprise of a song called The First Time in Forever. When they meet, Anna and Ilsa meet, and she's trying to talk Ilsa into coming back. You can tell that, well, Kristen Bell, you know, she's a famous actress from Veronica Mars, like I said, and stuff. But Idina Menzel is a Broadway actress, and there's a sequence where they're singing over each other in different tones.
Yeah.
And you can tell that this soundtrack, the songs were written in a Broadway style and not as in just like a musical for a movie. Like, it's just like they're singing two different things, and just to hear their voices, it's just like a battle of duels. That it was just beautiful.
It was.
So, harmony.
It was.
So. Any more positives? Or?
I liked the characters a lot, even when certain characters don't go the way that you initially expect them to. I still liked them. The biggest one that I was thinking I was going to have a problem with was that damn snowman,
yeah.
Olaf. I was like, I'm not going to like this character. I think he's going to be lame, he's going to be cheesy, he's going to be corny. He was actually quite charming, and he made me laugh more than I'll admit. He did. And
Yeah, you were laughing every, like, just when, I don't have a skull. I don't have bones.
Yeah.
He is so innocent that it's hard not to
Yeah.
love it. Like, every time the reindeer tried to grab his carrot nose to
Yeah.
eat it, he's like, he's trying to give me a kiss. And it's so infectious.
He's very
how
charming.
sweet.
And yeah, that's, again, a good aspect of good storytelling is the fact that no character is left behind. No character is half-assed, essentially. Everybody's treated as an in-depth character, and they all develop and they all grow throughout the entire movie. And I can't say enough about this. It's very, very good, and I was very, very impressed.
Another part of the script that I really liked is a lot of times when they do animation now, movies for the family, they always seem to slip in a lot of like poop and fart jokes and stuff like that to make the kids giggle. There's a couple of little things in here once in a while, but it actually stays fairly, like, they don't stoop ever to that level.
Yeah.
There are some adult jokes in it, but they're so subtle that it's not like, you know, like sometimes they slip in adult jokes, even in Pixar, where they're almost like, you might as well have them winking at the screen, like, hey, hey.
Yeah.
But, like, there's, like, little things that you don't, you know, like, sometimes it takes a couple times to catch. Like, when, Anna says she was going to get engaged, and Kristoff's like, what? You got engaged to a guy you just met?
Yeah, haven't your parents told you about
Right.
strangers? And she kind of
And he kind of...
shits over.
But he also hits, like, stuff, well, what's his last name? What's his color eyes? And she's giving all these, like, well, I don't know, but I'm going to answer everything he says.
Mm-hmm.
And then at one point she says something like, you know, well, what's his foot size? And she says, size doesn't matter. A subtle reference that adults will giggle at, but... Again, kids will just like, who cares? And the animation, really wonderful in this. They did a great job. Some of the action sequences are really, really good. The wolf scene is quite terrifying when you just see them all like snapping at them and the eyes in the dark. Just the way they set it up. There's a couple of scenes where they're hanging off cliffs and stuff. Thought it was well done in so many ways.
Yep.
Negatives?
I'm trying to think of any negatives,
I don't have
but
many.
I honestly, I guess the only real negative I have is there's a certain character, I'm not saying who, I feel like it's left a little unresolved at the end with regards to this character. And we know now that Frozen 2 is in the works. Frozen 2, the Frozening or something like that is going to come out. And I'm sure this character's going to show up again in Frozen 2. But I mean, it's been 5 years since this movie came out, and if I had seen this right in theaters, this would have been an agonizing wait, because I want to know what happens with this character. It's killing me that I can't say who it is, because if you haven't seen this movie, I want you to experience it, because like I said, the plot twist, I wish I didn't know, because the plot twist would have punched me in the gut, and that's how good it is. And so that's really the only negative that I can think of, is I wish it was a little bit more resolved at the end of the film, and that's all I really got. That's all I've got.
Yeah, and I don't have many negatives, but I do agree with what you said. If you have any reservations of seeing this movie because, you know, maybe it doesn't look as, you know, it looks a little bit more childish, don't think that. This is a very mature script, but kids can enjoy it. Like, it's not like some of the Pixar stuff now, and I'll probably get in trouble for saying this. I find it actually preaches a
I
little.
don't think Pixar's watching.
No, but there's a lot of Pixar fans.
Oh, okay, yeah, fair.
But what I'm saying is, I think
Hello.
Pixar's gotten a little preachy, but this movie doesn't. It tells a story. It's an entertaining story, but it hits some subject matters that are really intense. So I really don't have anything bad to say about it. But if you were ever on the fence to see this movie, I challenge you. I challenge you to see it,
Ooh.
because I think it's good. Now, if you don't like Broadway musical type movies, you might have some issues with it.
Yeah.
But let the story
I mean,
go.
it's a Disney movie. You know what you're getting into when it comes to Disney movies. One thing I really felt was great with this movie as well, going back to the positives, is the symbolism. Now, you took it a different way than I did.
Yeah.
But the whole let it go thing. We were talking about it after we saw the movie, and you took it one way, and I'll let you talk about the way that you took it if you choose to, but the way that I took it was basically Elsa's way of being comfortable with who she was as a person. And I felt when she was trying to escape from the crowds and everything, it was a very big symbolism of today's anxiety problems. And everywhere she went, there was somebody that was trying to get her. And even like when her sister was trying to reach out and touch her, don't touch me. Things like that. And I know when people get super anxious and they have anxiety attacks, panic attacks, they can shut down and reserve themselves very, very much. I mean, I've done it a couple of times in my life. And you took the symbolism a completely different way.
Well, I took it similar to you, but I was reading online about how a lot of people have taken it like it's like her coming out story, like almost like that. But some other people took it almost like a Carrie thing where she just had to finally release it. But the let it go thing to me is very liberating. And so I'm surprised that I didn't see it in that way. But I think the reason why this movie works is because it celebrates your quirkiness. Whether it's
your quirkies.
Your quirkies. Because first, Anna is quirky, but she never apologizes for it.
That's
and
just
so
who she
she's got ego, but you also see she has a little bit of anxiety, but she always like, I'll stand up. But Ilsa's is more like another thing. Like you said, I love the reference to anxiety because she basically hides away, she runs, and when she runs, it's powerful. But what's even more powerful is when she's on the mountain and realizes, okay, I can accept being a monster, or you know what? I can embrace it. And when she starts making a castle, and not giving away too much, but she just decides, you know what? And I love the line in the song, the cold never bothered me anyway. And I think it's so monumental, so I can see why like the gay pride community kind of embraced it as well. But I never really saw it as that, but I can't believe I didn't. But it's just, but I think this movie speaks to people who are different. And I think those movies always get followings, whether big blockbusters like Frozen or cult classics. People want to see movies where like you embrace, because you don't feel so alone at the end of it, you know?
No, I mean, this movie is so impactful on modern day society. 5 years down the road, we're still talking about it. You still have merchandise
The toys
all over the place. It's never gone away. And you know what? When Frozen 2 comes out, I'm really looking forward to it. I probably want to see it in theaters.
I'm nervous. I'll be honest. I'm very nervous because this to me could almost except for the unresolved things, I do think this could be a one and done kind of movie. But I know Disney's not letting it go. They're not.
They're
they're
not
not.
letting it go.
I didn't mean, oh God.
All right.
That's a good way to wrap
It
things
is.
up.
What are you giving this?
Oh yeah, we got to do that. I'm gonna shine up my fives because this is one of my favorite animated films. Haven't seen it in a couple of years. I saw it like 3 or 4 times when I first. Yeah, I'm gonna give this 5 stars. I just love this movie.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't have really much anything to say, and the one negative that I did have to say about this movie, I really had to think about. I have to give this movie a 5 too.
Whoa! Wow.
This was a really great movie, and I was surprised in a lot of ways. I would definitely recommend this movie to everybody, even though it's become a little bit of a meme, and it's maybe been a little bit overdone over the past 5 years, but if you haven't seen this movie, take it from me. It's worth checking out, for sure.
Did you think that you'd actually become a really big Frozen fan after seeing this?
No, I didn't. I thoroughly enjoyed Frozen. So I hope you guys thoroughly enjoyed our review of Frozen. We always want to know what you're thinking, so like, comment, and share it with your friends so they can join in on the conversation as well. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll ask you outside to build a snowman, but there ain't much snow here, so maybe next week. Stay tuned.
Hang in there, guys! Whoa! I can't feel my legs! I can't feel my legs!
Those are my legs.
Oh, hey, do me a favor, grab my butt. Oh, that feels better.